Hey guys, it's Peyton, and it is March 16th. Sunrise on the Reaping comes out in 2 days. And I kid you not, I can't speak about it. I have secured the book early. This was not intentional. I had no idea this was going to happen to me. But it did. Just yesterday, I was in my hometown with my parents. It's my mom's birthday, spending the weekend with her. Yesterday, my partner, Kaden, went shopping at a store that I will not name because I know, they have to be in trouble for doing this. He asked, did you need anything? I said, check the books, you just never know. I've been hearing some rumblings that this book has been getting put out early, which is really not that good, what are we doing here? But at the same time, knowing that I am literally one of the biggest Hunger Games fans, I can't help but just want to check, So he went and checked, and I wasn't thinking much of it. I didn't think it would be out because what the heck? Y'all need to do better about not putting your books out early because that really what causes spoilers and things to leak. There's a bunch of people I know on Facebook that a couple people have gotten the book and have been unleashing spoilers on people, and I find that really annoying because we all are obviously excited and want to experience this book for the first time ourselves, and we all have our theories and we want to see are our theories true, did we get anything right? This is a big moment for the fandom. So he found the book, and I wasn't even home. I'm an hour and a half away. So he got the book, and I got pictures of the first 2 chapters. So I read them yesterday, and I was able to come to my apartment today and actually get my hands on the physical copy of the book. And I'm literally, today is Sunday, Monday I'm going to a midnight release party for this. I'm still gonna go. This is so serious. Nothing is taking away this moment from me. I have Tuesday off of work because I was ready to read this book the entire time, and I'm still gonna do all of this. I'm still going to have a great experience, but I will not lie, I got this book early, and I know I'm not the only one. Some people have their pre-orders coming early and shit, and who could resist that? I'm sorry. I have it, and I've read the first 2 chapters, and the world has not, and I have no one to speak about this of because I'm not spoiling anyone. That's literally the last thing I'd want to do is ruin anything for anyone. But I'm stupid. I know so much about the series, and I'm pretty well understood about everything, but at the end of the day I'm still stupid about some things. So I'm reading this, and these first 2 chapters are such bombshell information that I'm oh my god. And then I'm looking into the lineages from the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes to try to understand how are these people related, because if you watched my theory video, which that video has blown up, and thank you guys so much, and I think it's really cool because I'm seeing even from these first 2 chapters quite a few of my theories and y'all's theories are right, and I'm just kicking and screaming. I'm sick to my stomach because I just need to read more. I just cannot believe that she is writing what she is writing, and oh god, I already know I'm gonna have to fight for my life. The haters are going to hate this. There's a lot of people that felt the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes was very fan servicey. I didn't feel that way. If that's how you feel, that's your feelings. But I think, just from the first 2 chapters, I feel there's gonna be a lot of complaints in regard to that. And my personal opinion is I do not agree, personally. Because as I've laid down in my theories video, I find it, pretty crazy to think that Haymitch did not know Katniss's father and mother. Especially Katniss's mother, because I really feel there's a history there that we just barely touched on in Catching Fire. He talked about how she has a history with helping with the whippings and healing people. There's clearly something there, and it may be something that was more so after his games. and like the rebellion and riots that may have been sparked from his games, but I really felt like there was something there. Like they are aware of each other and have been aware of each other. You know, he knew about Macy Donner and knew that she was the most stuck-up girl in town. And these are the richer girls, like the twins, the Donner twins, and then Astrid. We finally know Katniss's name, or Katniss's mom's name. I'm so sorry. Spoilers in this video. I'll make sure that's like noted. Yeah, this is a very spoiler-filled vlog, so please be ready to discuss with me. But yeah, Astrid, and you know, the names from Suzanne Collins usually have a meaning to them, so since I had these 2 chapters, I wasn't gonna get any more until, you know, I had my physical copy. I was like, okay, let me look into what some of these names mean that we got. Astrid is something like a clump of flowers or whatever, like it's a bunch of flowers. So that makes sense, rings true with Prim and Katniss, I feel like. What was really interesting is we very clearly have met Katniss's father in the first chapter, Burdock Everdeen. It was my first theory that we definitely, not only did Haymitch know Katniss's father, because they both live in the poorest part of District 12. I mean, there was just no idea in my head that they wouldn't at least know each other, if not be friendly with each other. And they are friendly with each other, so, I have no problem with it. I do know there is going to be people that are not going to enjoy this, and you know, honestly, I feel sorry for you guys, because, like, it's just, it's something really exciting for me, and like I'm really enjoying it because I personally feel like it had to be this way. Like all of these things go together in a way that, I mean, I feel like it was laid out in the history. Like it was supposed to be this way. Like I don't feel like she purely does things out of our satisfaction. I just don't get that read from her. She does things that we have been disturbed from many a times. Like, I don't think she does shit just for us, you know? So, they're friendly, and, you know, I was about to jump out of my skin when Burdock started singing and the Mockingjays were listening, you know? But please, I have no one to discuss this with. My boyfriend read the first 2 chapters as well, but he's not as, like, into this as me, so he didn't really have any more further thoughts. Lenore Dove, the Cubby, we all kind of knew that Lenore Dove was a part of the Cubby. We get information that Lenore Dove has pretty much been taken care of by Clerk Carmine and Tam Amber, who are 2 people that we did know from the ballad, okay? From part 3 of the ballad. So it says Clerk Carmine and her other uncle, Tam Amber, have raised her since her ma died in childbirth, seeing her pa's always been something of a mystery. They're not bloodkin, her being a Baird, but the Covey look out for their own. Okay, so what I deduced from that, you know, I'm even going on Hunger Games Wiki. I'm making sure, like, I just reread the ballad, but I'm making sure that I got this sorted, and, you know, I might still be wrong. Like, this video might go out sooner than I'm able to hear other people's thoughts. So, please help me if I'm going in the wrong direction. But Maud Ivory, Barb Azur, and Lucy Gray are the 3 Bairds. They're all cousins, okay? From my understanding. So Lucy Gray, I mean, she disappeared. We don't really know where she is. Okay. Then we had Maud Ivory, who was younger than Lucy Gray. I think Maud Ivory was Lenore Dove's mother that died in childbirth. We have not heard anything about Barb Azur. I thought Barb Azur was described as in a female-female relationship in the ballad. So the likelihood that she had a baby is very slim, okay? So I'm really thinking, though she hasn't been mentioned so far, that doesn't mean she's not in here. I've only read 2 chapters. But it seems to me that this is Maud Ivory's daughter, which is really sad because, you know, that means she died in childbirth. Very sad. But here is where I am, like, literally losing my mind. So one of my theories was that Katniss's dad is a part of the Covey. His name itself is really interesting, is Brewdog. I looked up what Brewdog is, and it is another edible root, just like Katniss is. She's a swamp potato, you know, and his is described as like some sort of like potato root or something. I don't know. Like, I love that they're both, you know, a root that you can eat, and like there's even healing properties to it. So it makes so much sense to me that his name is that. It is a strange word, but I was like, I know that means something. Like, that has to mean something. So Brewdog approaches Lenore Dove. This is when Haymitch first gets to meet Lenore Dove, who I love. I love Lenore Dove so far. Like, what a badass bitch. I'm obsessed with her. But it's not Brewdog, it's Burdock. Oh my god. So Burdock cocked his head and laughed. Hey, cuz, you're allowed out here alone? Cuz I'm sure not. He calls her cousin. Cuz. Okay? So Burdock, I'm so sorry I was calling him Brewdog. Like, I'm so embarrassed. Like, this is new information. Burdock, it literally says, okay, Burdock ran off, she scooted down the branches and swung to the ground. She wasn't one of Burdock's Everdeen cousins, but I knew he had some distant ones on his ma's side. This is the line that's tripping me up. Like, I feel like I'm too stupid to interpret this line. I'm so confused. So they're cousins. Who is Lenore Dove's father? You know? Like, are they cousins in that way? Or is he from like the Baird? Is he from the Baird side of it? And if so, I mean, we got Barb Azur and Lucy Gray left. That would make them cousins, if I'm coming to this correctly. So I'm like, and then he sticks out because he seems to be a part of the Covey. He's singing, he's with them, but he doesn't have the typical name. He has the plant name, you know, that we see with all of Katniss's family. So it's really eating at me. Like, I might be completely misinterpreting all of this. I hope other people are out there, like, gonna read this and be, like, confused too, because I'm not smart enough for this. Like, I need the other Hunger Games people with the bigger brains to dissect this, because I'm all alone right now. I'm all alone right now. So, I mean, from this, I'm just so confused. How are they related? Is he actually the Covey? Is Lucy Gray still out there? Potentially with a new name, new family type situation, living in secret. I don't know. Like, I need more information about Burdock, because it does mention, but I knew he had some distant ones on his ma's side. So is Ma still alive? You know, like, I don't know. And honestly, I have no idea if this is something that, as we continue, we would get more information on, because, I mean, I don't believe she's doing this out of fan service, truly. I really don't feel that in my heart. I don't feel like she is intentionally trying to give us this answer, like, about where Lucy Gray is. I mean, maybe we will find out. Like, I almost don't want it foiled. Like, I want the mystery to live on, because, I mean, she deserves to have peace. Like, she really deserves to continue on and not have President Snow. And, like, can we mention President Snow in this book? Like, it seems like he has just truly risen to power. There is propaganda. Like, the propaganda is supposed to be the main theme of this book. And we see that there's posters and stuff that say, no peace, no bread, no peace, no security, no peacekeepers, no peace, no capital, no peace. And, like, people getting in trouble for that. And it says, there's a huge banner, Panem's #1 peacekeeper with Snow's face. So, big old poster with his face and #1 peacekeeper. Like, he is using that as part as his campaign, is that he has been a peacekeeper before. And we do know his time as a peacekeeper was in District 12. It feels like he has just made his campaign to be officially the president. which is, I mean, I'm just so curious to see where he's at in this, and it seems like we're going to get more information. And one of my theories was that we were going to get more insight, potentially, into Plutarch Heavensbee. We know he comes from a very prestigious family, and I've never understood why would he pass over into being a rebel? And he was such an important rebel, the whole rebellion probably would have failed without his intel. So, for him to actually be here, and he is Haymitch's mentor. And when I tell you, I never went so far to claim that he was going to be Haymitch's mentor. Honestly, I thought it was too far-fetched of an idea. But when I tell you, a lot of y'all were in my comments saying that, yes, like, I think Plutarch is going to play some sort of role, and we're going to get a little bit more insight into how he was led into this journey. People said maybe he is Haymitch's mentor. They do seem to kind of already know each other before this whole rebellion thing go down. So, like, it's not entirely crazy. And, you know, there's not a mentor for District 12. So that was another question we all had in our head. Like, since Lucy Gray is, like, who knows where she is, there's no one else to mentor these 4 kids. So a couple people did throw it out there in the comments, and I see it on my video, and I'm not going to spoil anybody, but oh my god, like, I just feel so proud of us Hunger Games people, because we're so smart. Like, we're figuring shit out. I feel so good. Like, it's insane how much has already been revealed from these 2 chapters. This is going to be the longest vlog ever, and, like, I hope y'all are in this ride with me, because if this book continues to go in this way, like, I'm gasping the whole time, and I'm probably going to read this a second time right after reading it the first time, because, I mean, there's just so much to dig here. I mean, we even had a Malark get mentioned. And once again, I don't feel like that's fan service, because these people have been around for so long, and they pass these businesses down to each other. So I'm like, yeah, the Malarks own the bakery. Like, it's not that crazy to me that that would still be a thing 20-something years in the past. So, oh my god, I need to probably go eat dinner, and then I'm gonna dive into this. It's 5:30, have work tomorrow, because I didn't think I was gonna have this book. So I'm gonna get through work tomorrow and get ready. I'm still gonna go to the midnight release, and I'll see how much I can show y'all of that. And I have a shirt for the midnight release party, so I'm really excited about everything. And I don't know. I feel like I'm holding a huge secret that I somehow got this book early. Like, it was not planned. It just happened. And, you know, I'm gonna enjoy this moment where hopefully I'm not gonna get spoiled by anybody. I'm just gonna read this and then make my own interpretation. Like, I'm really going to give y'all my thoughts, and I might sound stupid, like all those theories I just had right there. Like, I might be misinterpreting everything. I'm like, it's completely somebody else, you know? But it's cool. Like, I can capture this, and then I can read it again, and then we can really get my full thoughts together. This is the vlog. I'm probably gonna have a review, just like I did with the ballad. Like, there's just gonna be so much to say. I mean, I was flipping the pages. It pulled open. I saw Wyrus's name. I mean, insane. I don't know how she could come into this. Like, is she District 3? I think technology is District 3. I mean, the people that we might come across, the Tigress theory that I had just doesn't seem very far-fetched at this point. Like, I definitely think we're gonna get an update on why she ended up hating Snow so much. So, yeah. I'll go eat dinner, and then we're really gonna dive in. And see where this lands me, because this is just from 2 chapters. There's 27 chapters, just like the original books. So I can't imagine the feelings that I'm going to be feeling throughout this video. It's going to be literally insane, and I'm probably just gonna barely even edit this. It's gonna be stream of consciousness, and you're gonna see all of it. So, ow, my fingers. Oh my god. Bye. It's 10:15. I am on page 90. Sunrise on the Reaping. Chapter 7. Oh my god. Got the really cool Sunrise on the Reaping bookmark that came out. This says second quarter quill, general admission for the interviews. absolutely obsessed. I've bought several things, so maybe I'll share at some point in this video. But oh my gosh, more shit has happened, obviously. I've read like 5 more chapters or whatever, I can't do math, since I last talked to you. So I'm trying to like let it sink in a little bit. First 2 chapters, jam-packed with shit, absolutely insane. As I'm lingering on it more, the shit with Burdock, I keep like accidentally saying Brewdock, so I think it's Burdock. My thought process now is that if Lenore Dove is Maud Ivory's daughter, maybe Maud Ivory got with an Everdeen, and that's the reason that Lenore Dove and Burdock are cousins, because I really feel like Lucy Gray is disappeared. And there is a paragraph where Haymitch does mention what he does know about Lucy Gray, which is really what I had anticipated that Haymitch would know more than Katniss did. And the fact that Katniss knew the very little that there had been a female Victor one time a million years ago before Haymitch just made me feel like Haymitch had to know a little bit more. And he's the type that withholds information, and he's annoying like that. But this is what he said. He talked about how we've only had one Victor, and that was a long time ago. A girl who no one seems to know anything about. Back then, barely anyone in 12 had a television, so the games were mostly hearsay. I've never seen her in the clips of the old shows, but then those early efforts are rarely featured, as they are said to be badly filmed and lacking in spectacle. We really know that Dr. Gall wanted that shit erased, because if every weird-ass thing happened in the 10th Hunger Games. My parents weren't born yet, and even Mama couldn't tell me much about the girl. I brought our Victor up with Lenore Dove a few times, but she never wanted to discuss her. I find that interesting, so it definitely feels like Lenore Dove may know a little bit more about the history, especially, just being with Clerk Carmine and Tam Amber, knowing that they did know Lucy Gray, and they were there for the events of this. And obviously, if it was Maud Ivory as her mother, she died in childbirth, but there's just no way that I feel like she wouldn't have heard a little bit about, her ancestor. So I'm getting the vibe that Burdock is not technically Covey, and he sprinkled off maybe with the Everdeen line, and that's why they're cousins. If Maud Ivory married a Everdeen, like maybe that's how this happened. But because of that close connection and how the Covey kind of like keep with their people, he is with them. So that's my thought on it, and I would love to know if anyone has any other thoughts. And as we continue to learn more and more, it just, maybe more things will make sense. But I feel like that might be all we get about that, because I don't know, I just feel like she's not going to want to harp on it too much, but give us just a little bit to have our minds worrying, and like, just to have our minds like freaking out and like wondering and figuring out how all these people related and how all these things connected. I'm really freaking out right now because we have seen President Snow, middle-aged President Snow, and Haymitch brought, I don't know how to pronounce her name, right? I haven't looked it up, but Luella, I'm gonna say that. Luella, just 13. It's so freaking, like, depressing what just happened to her, but, like, is it almost better that she went out before the games even started and had to go through that terror? I mean, she cracked her skull open, which can't feel good, but also it's like, maybe it was, like, instantaneous, like, I don't know. I'm just trying to hope that maybe it was a quick moment and she didn't have to go through some of the horrors that some of these kids unfortunately are having to go through. It's really chilling, like, seeing all of the kids in the same, like, area together, and they're getting, like, all naked and, like, being forced to get insecticide all over their bodies. Like, why are they treating them like literal animals, Obviously we know why, but it's just, like, jarring every time we see just how disgusting these people are. Another interesting update, Plutarch is not actually the mentor. He is, I guess, just really working on the footage and the perception of District 12 specifically. So that's interesting. But the mentors are actually, and I do like this twist on it, other mentors or other victors that we have had that maybe are discarded because they didn't perfectly align with the Capitol as well. Getting Wiress's story of what her games was like. She won the 49th Hunger Games, we learned from this. And she was in an arena of mirrors. I don't know if that was ever addressed in Catching Fire. I really don't think it was. I feel like we only talked about BT specifically, but obviously Wiress was always addressed as being extremely intelligent, and it was proven true with her game. She didn't even have a scratch on her. She was able to figure out the arena of mirrors with like a ray of light, she says, and was able to hide the whole time. And even the final District 6 boy that she was with, he pretty much killed himself by accident. So she didn't even have to kill anyone. And Haymitch was like, well, dang, like, this is not going to be a great mentor because, like, one, she didn't ever have to kill anyone. And, like, she didn't suffer in the ways that other victors had to. And he's like, what advice is she really going to have for me, you know? And then we have Mags show up, and Miss Ma'am, she, like, never spoke when we met her in Catching Fire because, I mean, she's so old. I'm pretty sure she won the 11th Hunger Games, so she's definitely, I mean, she's middle-aged at this point. So to see her speak to him and he embraces her and he finally begins to cry, I'm like, oh, it just means so much. Like, we know that he does, like Mags. Everyone likes Mags and knows that she's a great person. I feel like she's someone that everyone was able to cling on to. And I mean, who could hate her? You know, like, she just such a kind-hearted woman. And it seems like even way back then, like, she is known for being with that little Victor who was watching all the competitors' deaths and, like, falling apart. And she was with him the whole time. So I love her, and I'm really interested to see how this dynamic is going to continue. It's crazy, but it makes sense. Like, it is one of the natural ideas that you would have gone to of maybe other victors took this place. Because, you know, Lucy Gray, where the frick is she, you know? And honestly, I really hope she's gone, disappeared in the north. We never hear from her again. Because honestly, she deserves to get away from Snow. An interesting point about Snow is he was looking at Haymitch's necklace that had the flint striker or whatever you call it, that has both the snake and the bird on it, the songbird. So he definitely took note of that, and I don't know if he, like, ever caught eye of, like, Tim Amber's creations, but maybe just the symbol itself of, I guess it was looking like this, the snake and the bird, like, that definitely means something to him. So I do find that interesting. And the image of Haymitch clapping before him and putting Luella's body before him and just clapping, like, I mean, it's giving Katniss, it's giving Lucy Gray. Like, our District 12 victors are always going to be the baddest bitches in the world. And can we mention Macy Lee Donner? I love her. She's very unlikable. You know, she has been mean and rude in different ways, but also, like, you can't help but just love her defiance and, like, the way that she is talking to these people. Like, the way her and Drusilla just beat the shit out of each other, like, literally, absolutely right. But, and then she's over here talking to Silka, one of the District 1 tributes. They're already in a fight. Like, she does not care, you know? Like, she clearly is going down with the battle, and, I mean, we know she makes it to Final 6, so definitely a situation. I am also intrigued by Wyatt. I wasn't sure what we were going to get with him. And I like that perspective of, I mean, people are methodical about these things. And really, you can imagine people would be betting on things. Like, we know people bet in the Capitol, but you never really thought, like, do the districts also do this? And, I mean, maybe District 1 or 2 that would do that. But, like, to think that that's happening in 12 is crazy. And it is kind of an asset that he knows so much about these people and can see angles and have that cold disengagement so he can just view it on that way. But it seems Haymitch is not wanting no more allies. And, you know, he's pretty burned and jaded after what just happened to Luella, and it really is sad. So I get that. But, I'm just very interested as we enter the interviews, actual games. Like, I can't even figure out what's going on here. There's 3 parts. My thought process is just the pacing that we got so far of this book. I mean, it seems like we're getting maybe part 1 and 2 in the games, and maybe the 3rd part is the after. And that's what's making sense to me right now. I'm gonna keep reading and see what happens. But yeah, I just wanted to give a bit of an update because that Mags and Wirus thing is definitely crazy. I'm really eating up how much, like, we're getting of these characters because I just know people are going to hate it. Like, I'm already losing my mind knowing that there's going to be so many complaints about this. And, like, I get it, but I also don't get it because I just feel, I mean, she said this was a missing piece in the puzzle, and I just feel everything was interconnected, Like, she wanted these things to run together, not just be solo things that had no connection, I feel like she had a greater story in mind, and I don't feel like she should be shamed at all for wanting to explore that. So, I just feel it. I feel like people are gonna be like, this is too convenient, like, I don't like it, and I get it, but I'm here for it. I think it makes sense, and I'm eating up every page, so yeah, let's just get back to reading it, to be honest. Like, I'm freaking out. I got work tomorrow. It's probably close to midnight now. I am just about halfway through Sunrise on the Reaping, chapter 12, page 160. There's so much that keeps happening. I'm realizing now that a theory that I seem to be wrong about is this book is primarily going to be the setup before the games, rather than what a lot of us were predicting was the aftermath. And I see why we're doing this now. I feel we didn't really dive into this idea that Haymitch could have potentially been a part of something bigger that we had no idea about. A potential uprising that was happening before the games had even started. It wasn't just a mistake he made in the games. It wasn't just the axe in the force field, which, I mean, we were theorizing that, it was more than just the axe in the force field, but, like, I don't think anybody was thinking he was going in with a plan with our man BT. Can we talk about how sick it is that BT he's having to watch his son Ambert. These names are always so weird, so I hope I said that one right. He's having to watch his son Ambert, who's only 12, be in this games with double the amount of tributes. And he knows it's because he got caught messing with the communication systems, which is something he did in Mockingjay. Like, he has been working on this entire time. He's always been behind the scenes working on this, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it because, I mean, a rebellion does not just take 2 seconds, and there's gonna be so many trials and, like, failures of trying to overthrow something that has been going on for, I mean, decades and decades. So I love that we're seeing into people like BT, who was actively fighting against this, and he's so intelligent, and he won 16 years ago because he said Haymitch was reaped. No, he said he was reaped on the day Haymitch was born, and Haymitch is 16. And, we have heard in the series, the trilogy, that other, the tribute children of past victors, that there was, like, an odd amount of times that those kids were reaped. It just seemed a little bit little bit like something else was going on here. And clearly in this case, this kid was reaped to get at BT, and BT's in the training rooms and he's watching all of this and he's helping them come up with this alliance plan. And I mean, it's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. But I feel like this book makes so many added layers to the characters that we know. And Snow that we know in the ballad, to the Snow that we know in Mockingjay, to the other characters like that we know in different time periods. Like, this is truly, like, I just feel enriched. Like, I feel like this adds so many layers and I'm losing my mind over it. Like, I'm loving it. Like, this, there's been nothing that I have been upset about. Like, this, I mean, I'm upset about the circumstances that these characters are going through. But I'm just in awe of the way that all these puzzle pieces seem to be falling into place. Like, this feels like something that we've been missing. Like, all of this information. I mean, just reading, I can't imagine reading through the books again after having all this information. And I mean, just characters like Wiress and BT, Mags. I mean, just having these added notes to it is so cool. And I mean, one of my theories was that Haymitch would be sat down by President Snow and have a little talk. I did not think it would happen before the games even happened. I thought it would be like a warning after the games. But like, that's what's so cool about this book so far, is like, it's surprising me with how we have not gotten to the games. We are 160 pages in. And we're fully building this up, trying to make alliances. I love the idea of, there's so many tributes, and the tributes are building a group called the Newcomers, and they're trying to outdo the careers in numbers. And it's interesting because the whole element of Plutarch talking about how, why do y'all accept this? Like, there's that spark that I wanted to see from Plutarch of him just understanding, like, strategically and logically, I think that is what comes from him. He clearly reads a lot and he knows a lot. I feel like he's just analyzing the situation. He's like, why are we outnumbering the capital here and we're still accepting what this world is? And it is a very big idea that he's suggesting. Obviously, it's extremely hard to overthrow something that has caused so much pain. And it really takes a lot of people all agreeing. And like that's, as we've seen throughout the trilogy, like, it is incredibly hard to get people to do that. And it makes a lot of sense why it has taken decades. And it really has been a built up group effort from so many people, such as like BT and Wiress, and I'm sure Mags knows about this shit going on too. It's just so cool to see this happen, like, and all come together, and I wish I had someone to talk about it with, and I know some other people are going to be feeling the same way that I'm feeling, so, like, I know there's going to be people that do not like this, and I need to stop caring that I'm probably going to be feeling like I did with the ballad. I felt like everybody hated the ballad, and I felt like I was making these videos like, come on guys, this is why this is good, like, just listen to me. And, like, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, like, if I'm happy with it, like, that's all that matters. But I just see what she's doing. Like, I just think it's so cool how this is coming together. And it just adds so many layers to Haymitch as we know him. And I feel like what he's doing here, he has a spark in him. He wants to show up the capital in the same way that, we've seen other characters. And we meet him in the modern trilogy. And, that flame has died. Like, he gets everything ripped away. He clearly is punished horrendously for what he did. And he's clearly so inspired by Lenore Dove. She is such a rebellious spirit. It seems the Covey girlies just have that within them, and I still think she knows some more. sick to my stomach Snow talking to him and very evidently knowing about District 12 life and the Covey and their traditions with how they name people. Oh, it's gross. And the way that he talks about them is so nasty. And I mean, such a sick and twisted man. Like, Lucy Gray did nothing wrong to him other than, realize that he was kind of crazy. Like, and honestly, I mean, all she did was like run away and he was like shooting at her. Like, who's the crazy one? Like, why is he? It's insane. And the fact that he's like, she is still on his mind to this day. Like, he still wonders about it. It's so evident. Like, he is so clearly bothered. And I mean, he's going to probably kill Lenore Dove and really enjoy it. And it just really shows you the way, like, not to try to call out men, but like so often men like will just hate a woman because like they rejected them, and then they'll just come up with all these horrible like nasty things to say about them. I feel like he's that onto like the biggest extreme. That's how he is with Lucy Gray. She ended up realizing the real him, and he realized he cannot control her, and that's when he snapped, and he does not like not being in control. And the freaking Lulu of it all, ew, like horrible, disgusting. We clearly see that he poisoned someone, and like Plutarch and Haymitch like are clocking it like that. So I'm like, how did he get away with this for so long? Like, seriously, everybody dropping dead all the time, food poisoning, really? And then he gets it too, but he lives. Like, that's the big question. That's the big thing that don't add up. Like, how did he get away with this for so long? Because, I mean, the picture is painted. Like, eventually. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go to bed soon. Like, I have work tomorrow, but I have a feeling I'm gonna be up till at least 3 in the morning. My boyfriend really wants to read this too. And he's like, his job, he's able to, like, read and do tasks because he's waiting for people to call him. I do not have that experience. Like, I have to actually work. Like, so he's like, let me take the book with me and like catch up to where you're at. And I'm like, but then I can't read on my lunch break. But I have the midnight release party tomorrow. Like, I have so much going on. Like, I don't know when this is gonna be done. Like, it's not gonna be tonight because I have to go to sleep at some point. But I'm not tired. Like, this has wired me. But I mean, I'm probably gonna have it done tomorrow at some point. It might go into the Tuesday. But yeah, I'm gonna be rereading it, like, probably immediately, because I'm not tabbing it, annotating it all right now, and I feel like, once I have the full scope of what this book is, I know more things are going to come together and make sense upon reread. So, and I'm reading it pretty fast, so I feel like, yeah, I'm about to reread it again, or read it again. This is gonna be a crazy long vlog. I'm so sorry. And like, I'm not even doing any cute aesthetic, like, oh, I'm reading moments. Like, no, like, this is purely discussion. Because, one, I have no one to talk to about it. Like, my boyfriend has read the first 3 chapters, I think. So we've discussed that. But other than that, like, I just keep getting smacked in the face with more shocking stuff that she keeps doing. And I'm really eating it up. Like, it's the way, like, so many of our theories were right, but this book is still not what I was expecting. Like, I really had the idea that a lot of this book would be the aftermath, and it seems it's kind of reversed, and there is a plan. And I mean, sparked in my head right now, they're trying to, like, drown the arena to try to kill the arena and make it go down. Is this the volcano? I know a big volcano eruption happens and, like, kills a lot of tributes. Was this that? That's where my head is going right now. Also, there's this clear thought about, Haymitch thinks that there might be a lot of darkness in this arena because different clues. Wirus was talking about cluing in on different things that are in the trainings, and a couple of the things that they've taken note of is it might be really wet because of the tarp training. And then also, I mean, I had the theory in my head because it was mentioned several times in Catching Fire how Haymitch does not sleep at night. He does not sleep at normal hours. And it's described as him having like really bad nightmares if something like that would happen. So I had this idea in my head that like something really terrible happens to him in the dark, and that's why it disturbs him so much. He does not want to sleep during it. I mean, he's distressed. So the fact that this BT potato lighting session happened, it makes me really think that he is on the right line of thinking, that there is going to be a lot of darkness in this arena, which doesn't really match up what we know with this arena. So I do think there's going to be some shit that we just never knew about. But yeah, like that definitely makes me think that that theory is coming together as well, that the darkness will take a toll on him. Continue to love these characters. I love how, like, even in unlikable moments, like Maisily, like, she says some pretty crazy, rude shit to people sometimes, but, I mean, she so clearly has a good heart in there as well, and she's helping people make their tribute tokens, and it's just, it makes me really sad, because they're getting so many people allied with them right now, and they're overpowering what the career pack has at this moment. And I'm like, this is great, guys. Like, let's knock them out. But then we're left with all of the newcomers. And I know things like there's going to be a lot of mutts in here. So that's probably going to wipe a lot of them out, and they didn't have to kill each other, which it's just awful. But still, that, I mean, no one's really talking about how, like, yeah, we're gonna get the career pack, but then it's just gonna be us staring at each other. And that's what's so haunting to me. I don't know how that's gonna go. I'm really curious about Wyatt and how his death is gonna go, because obviously he's going to die. We know he doesn't make it to Final 6, I think. I mean, I wouldn't say that that's true, because, it was never mentioned. Was it? I don't know. It didn't seem like he made it as far as Maisily and Haymitch, but I don't say it seems like it's entirely impossible. But I just feel like they would have all three been allies, so my thought is he probably dies, I would say in the middle. And I don't want him to die either. I think he's strange and very analytical and just a very calculated human. And that can really rub you the wrong way. But, like, there is some things to gain from that type of thinking. So, interesting guy. This book got me in a chokehold. Like, I really, like, am enjoying it. Like, not just me being spazzed over, like, fan service. Like, I really think it makes sense. And I might be the only bitch saying this, but I just like what this is adding to our world. That's what I really liked about the ballad too. Like, we got so much history, and it just paints such a picture of this world. And having, I mean, this is halfway through. Like, we have towards the beginning, this is the halfway point, and then we have the destruction of the capital. Like, this really adds so much. And lets us know that, like, I mean, Katniss, yes, was such a spark to the rebellion, and she was really able to push it to its final end. But this has been happening. People have been rumbling and fighting back behind the scenes for longer than they realized. So, and you know, they might get smacked in the face really hard for their efforts, but it eventually happened. It eventually happened, so. This is gonna be the longest video ever. I'm so sorry. I don't even care. Like, this is for me. Hey guys, it's the next day. Last time I talked to you, I was like, oh, I think it's almost midnight. It was 1 a.m. So, I was reading so much I didn't know where I was at. Ignore the thumb brace. We got problems. I I kept reading. I don't have the book with me right now. I have an explanation for that. My boyfriend also really wants to read the book. And his job, he's able to read while waiting for things to happen. So he has the book right now. And I'm doing my job. You know, I'm supposed to be working anyways. I am working. And, you know, it's hard to focus today, I won't lie. But, you know, once I'm done with work today, I can have him come home, bring me my book back. We can read. We got the midnight release party tonight, so I'm dressed up with my Hamish shirt. I got my Hunger Games earrings in, so I'm like super excited. Even though I got the book early, and the likelihood is I'm going to be almost done with this book by the time I go to the release party tonight. Wasn't expecting that. I prepaid for the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. I have a Waterstones edition. Oh, hold on. I have a Waterstones edition coming from the UK because it's really cool, and I have the ballad one, so I kind of just had to get them to match. And yeah, I'm losing my mind today. I had such an insomnia attack yesterday. I mean, I have really bad sleep in general, but when I have something like this that is really on my mind and I'm like itching to figure it out, like it's so hard for me to go to bed. I went to bed almost at 3 a.m. as expected. I forced myself to put the book down right when we were a chapter in to Hamish's games. So I finally entered the games, had a couple shocking moments in between that where Effie Trinket showed up. Like, once again, I know people are screaming, fighting, and going to be yelling at me like, Peyton, this is so cheesy, this is so convenient, like, so fan servicey, whatever. I am obsessed. I literally feel just absolute elation reading this, not for the terrible, horrible things that are happening to my characters. No. But the fact that everything is just getting so much more complex. There's so many layers to all of these side characters that we have known, seeing them in the past and seeing where they were, seeing Snow from what he was in the ballad to where he is now. Like, it's so cool. I cannot wait to finish reading this and then like read it again and really be able to just digest what she laid out for us. She's really made the whole story of the Hunger Games that much more complicated because, I mean, David Levithan went live on Instagram today. He's her editor, and he's like, what this book is really doing is, I'm blanking now. He said exactly what I've been thinking. Like, it's fleshing things out in a way that, I mean, it just works. So, yeah, my brain's not working. My brain's not working. I don't even remember what's going on. Wyatt is dead. Wyatt is dead. I really want to know what happened to him. Hamish is really suspicious that he was protecting Lulu, which it seems about right. And then obviously Lulu just showed up. And I have read up until Lulu in the arena was sniffing them flowers that are supposed to be healing flowers. And she's poisoned. And all I know is Hamish, like, rips out her little pack on her chest that the Capitol kept poisoning her with, and because, I mean, she was just in misery, and that was the only thing he could think of to, like, hopefully end her misery. Seems like it worked. It's horrible. There's really, like, within a day, almost half of the tributes are dead, and I feel like they were, like, double the tributes, but let's make sure, like, all of them die, like, as quick as possible. Especially because we know this volcano is going to go off eventually, and it wipes out, like, a bunch of the careers and makes life maybe a little bit easier, simpler for the nobodies to maybe win. But still, there's a lot more careers now than the newcomers because within a day, like, I think 16 of the newcomers were dead. So, it's horrible. Obviously, we know that Haymitch and Maistley make it to Final 6, and I'm assuming none of their other allies are with them in that journey. I feel like they would have been with Ampert. Keep forgetting. It's like Ampert or Ambert. I think it's Ampert. I feel like they would have been with him if he was still alive. So my assumption is when they become allies, like, pretty much all the newcomers are gone, and, like, Haymitch and Maistley are I mean, they're it at that point. So, and the thought is, I think District 1 girl is who is the final person that Haymitch kills. I'm pretty sure that's Silka, the one that's like described as like literally massive. It's seeming like that's her. So their epic showdown is going to happen, but I'm really curious how this explosive thing, this journey that he's taking right now, he and Ampert and BT have this plan, and clearly Plutarch is a part of it. And can I tell you, this is a part of the stuff that I was talking about, that like me and David Levithan are like this on, like we are both agreeing that there's just so many added layers that these things take decades. That's what I was saying. That's what he was saying. Okay. These things take decades. So like what we saw in the original trilogy and how it all finally came like to fruition, we finally got that rebellion to work, and it happened through lots of trauma, lots of deaths and everything. Like it was awful, but it was the final push that finally happened. There was people working for decades before that trying to make this happen. People like Plutarch, people like BT, you know, people like Wirus. Like these people were working behind the scenes. So to see some of these side characters that, yes, we do know them from the final rebellion that ended up succeeding, I just feel like it makes sense knowing that they existed in this world, you know. You're telling me that they never tried to do anything, you know, like the one time that they tried is when it worked. That doesn't make sense to me. So seeing Haymitch be a part of this plot that the rebels are trying, and we know it's going to fail, but they're going to learn from this failure, and it might be a really, really hard way to pick yourself back up, because obviously Haymitch is going to be crushed, and like this is it for him, until obviously Katniss and Peeta give him a spark of hope again. But I mean, other characters, it seems like maybe didn't fully have their hope flashed out. So it's just so important, this book, in my opinion. Like I'm having a good time reading it, because it's just like with the ballad, like getting all this new information, like learning stuff that we've wondered about for ages, things that we just had minute details for, like getting the tiny snippet about more of the first quarter quell. Like I just love to learn about this world. It is a futuristic world from ours. And, you know, it's been smacked in the face by climate change and all of these wars. And this is where it has ended up. And we see in our real world how this really could happen. Like how this has been led here. Like the authoritarian people that create environments like this. And it's very, very haunting. And I literally just think she's a genius. I know this video is so freaking long. I cannot wait to read more of it tonight, because it's so hard for me to focus today. I am a good worker. I'm doing my job, but I won't lie, my brain is very distracted. Hey, Mitch! Hello, everyone. I have finished Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. It is like almost 5 o'clock on the day of this book coming out. I stayed up till 6 a.m. finishing this book last night. I did go to the midnight release party. I did try to take a few clips, but I don't know if they're making it in here because I was too nervous to really film. But it was fun. We like did trivia and did Hunger Games scavenger hunts and crossword puzzles, and I enjoyed myself. So it was fun, but I was keeping my lips sealed. I had already read like half of the book. I didn't want to ruin nothing for nobody. So, and I just, me and my boyfriend both have read like half of the book at that point, and we felt very, we were keeping a deep secret. But okay, we got our midnight Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, and I did read the exclusive Suzanne Collins interview at the end as well, and I read the acknowledgements. Like, if, you know, I read acknowledgements, let's not be acting like I don't do that for everybody, but, you know, when you're reading acknowledgements for an author, like, you're a little obsessed. I like to do that for some reason, but yeah. I don't know where exactly I left off in the video, like what part I was on, but so much happened afterwards and I have so many emotions. I was keeping strong throughout this book with not really crying, like maybe a little bit of a tear up. But this book last night when I was reading, really, I guess early in the morning, I did finally cry because it was heavy. I mean, I think I was just entering the games when I last talked to you, and my idea was the explosion that Haymitch had to do had something to do with the volcano. Like the volcano maybe was covering up what he did. And it seems I was actually right about that. So that was really cool. He was able to go into sub A and explode the water tank, and he kind of broke the arena in a way. It was not fully broken, but it's such a success to see that things were just not working the same as they were. And you just know that had to make the Capitol people and Snow furious. So it adds another layer to why what happened to Haymitch happened, because it just never fully made sense. I always felt like Katniss and the Berries was way worse than what he did, but you know, Snow was crazy. So I didn't put it past him killing people's families, and you know, maybe it was harder to kill Katniss's family because people knew about Prim. So, but this adds so much to Haymitch's character, and he was like actively in every step of the way trying to like say an FU to the Capitol, and you know, part of him was feeling safe to do that because he never really thought he had a chance. And I feel like that's something a little bit different than Katniss. Like, she didn't really think she had a chance initially, but she was able to buy into the idea eventually that, like, you know, I actually might be able to do this. Like, I want to get home to my sister. So he never thought he had a chance, and that probably has something to do with, one, you know, they haven't won in 40 years, and it's only been one person ever in District 12, and like no one knows where she is. But the other factor is it's just twice as many kids. Like, I probably wouldn't think the odds were for me either, you know? That's just so hard to believe, knowing that there's people that are specifically trained to kill since birth. But, you know, I feel... What was I going with that? I don't know. My thoughts are so all over the place. Like, I'm going to try my best to hit every note that I really need to say, but honestly, there's so much to talk about and uncover in this book, and that's why I'm probably gonna have a whole separate review when I can really collect my thoughts, establish notes, and like really have what I need to say. But like, these are my stream of consciousness. Like, I cannot believe I read this book moment. Hearing about Marcus's death, this death probably bothered me the most out of everybody's. You know, from the Hunger Games book 1, like, Cato's death was the one that really bothered me. Just the descriptions of his death, just really terrible. And Haymitch did not see Marcus's death, but he heard about it from 2 people, and he was protecting Lulu, and it sounded like the careers took many different weapons and were just hacking at him, and it's really awful. He seems like he was probably one of the most brutal deaths from the initial day 1 at the cornucopia. And to know that he was being selfless, and while he was a really strange guy and like he was all about the odds, you know, he was still, I liked him, and it's really sad to see him go out in such like a horrific and cruel way. And it really reminds you, like, yes, we feel bad for these kids, and we do feel bad for these kids, but it shows you like how the careers were trained and had such a warped perception of what this reality is. And while they're still, like, those kids are human too, and like they should be talked about with pity and sadness as well, because I mean, what you're born into, and then that's what you're forced to think is your purpose in life, is to go fight in the Hunger Games. Like, it's really messed up. Jumping ahead though, like that scene when it's just 3 of them left, and it's Haymitch, Welly in the tree, and then Silka's at the bottom of the tree, and we see her moment of weakness when she's just crying at the bottom, and like, you know, the rain's pouring, and they're so tired. They all 3 went through so much, and the fact that Haymitch dropped some of his chocolate that he got from his parachute, and her cries softened a little bit. Like, it was really chilling, because I mean, these are still kids, and obviously we know that Silka and Haymitch have such an epic showdown, and we knew like how brutal that showdown was going to be. It was so interesting how she was able to give us that moment of humanity between them, and how, like, they don't really want to kill each other. Even when Silco's trying to kill him, even when she's holding Welly's head, she still says, like, I had to kill her, I need to kill you, like, this is how I get back to my family. And it's not feeling like they purely enjoy it. I do think they have a bit of a, like, strange dissociation from the murders that they're doing. Like, she doesn't seem to have any kindness towards Welly's head, and just is throwing it. Like, it's pretty messed up. And it makes me so sad, because Haymitch was like, I'll be back, like, just wait here, like, I'm gonna be back. And, like, bitch, we know that was not gonna work out. Like, you're over here separating in the games. That shit never works out. Look, Macy went over to, like, look for the potatoes. Girl's gone, you know? So I ended up loving Macy Donner so much. No surprise. I feel, in Suzanne's interview, I feel like she described her perfectly. Like, she is rage. So when Haymitch first knew her in District 12, and how she's, like, so mean to everybody, the rage that she experiences about how her world and how her life is not, you know, what she would have chosen for herself. She can't really make decisions for herself. She's, like, in a stuck position. She just has rage about everybody. Like, she's mean to everybody. She's angry. And I feel like that makes sense. But when she's thrown in as a tribute, that rage is finally centered, and she's able to remember who the real enemy is, as Suzanne said, that it's the Capitol, and all that rage is pointed at the Capitol. And we see her kindnesses with, you know, the newcomers, and, like, making their tokens, and, you know, she definitely was just a fantastic character. And to see, like, till the end, she was not going to let them see her moment of weakness. And seeing the way that Haymitch and Macy, like, they have such an interesting beginning where they don't really like each other. They become siblings, like, by the end of this book, and he's calling her sis, and it's so emotional. And Suzanne pointed out in her interview how all three of her main characters from her books, Hunger Games books, they end up becoming, like, a sibling, true friendship relationship with someone that they originally felt like was an enemy. So Katniss with Finnick, Haymitch with Macy, and then I don't even like talking about Snow, so but I guess Sejanus, but yeah, I don't even want to talk about him. There's so much sadness at the end of this book. That's something I really wasn't ready to experience, because we know this book ends in misery, and Haymitch, for 20 something years, like almost 30 years it takes for him to reach somewhat of a happy ending. And his journey is hard. He is left alone, and his family, you know, they're all brutally murdered. It is just so disgusting how Snow looked at him and said, enjoy your homecoming. Like, obviously you had something cooking, you know. It's just so unnerving. And then for him to have to watch his home burn down, and Burdock and Blair's, like, trying to hold back Haymitch. And my entire thought about Haymitch, and, like, why he seemed like he had no friends or family throughout the trilogy, and, like, the idea of, like, oh, I think Katniss's dad was probably friendly with him, like, but we don't see that. I think it's so easily explained with what we saw. How, he's pushing everyone away. He has realized if you love anyone, Snow will use it against you, because he can't kill him, but he will make sure everything else about his life is miserable. How haunting was it when Haymitch is the victor, and he's in that freaking, like, weird apartment that they were in at the beginning, and he's just alone, just waiting for anyone to let him out, like, or talk to him. Like, is he gonna get killed? Is he the victor? Like, how is this gonna go? And I honestly felt like I was watching a horror movie. Like, obviously all these books is like a horror movie, like, it's just horrible, but, like, when he was in the living room and the TV started playing Lucy Gray singing during her interviews, and then we just see a figure starting to walk towards her, and it cuts out and we know that that's Snow, and he's able to deduce that that was Snow, and like Snow knew a little bit too much about the Covey for comfort. Like clearly there was a connection between him and the first victor of District 12. That was so chilling. Like that was truly terrifying, just having to be him, seeing that and knowing that he has Lenore Dove at home, who he's pretty sure he's probably doomed because now he's alive. All his comfort in doing rebellious acts is if he died, there wouldn't be any reason for Snow to go and hurt his family. Like, there's no reason for him to waste the time to do that. But if he's alive, there's every reason to hurt him and his family. So that was scary, and he was stuck there just in that loop for that couple week period before they finally let him go home, like just not knowing how in danger they truly were. And the whole point of this book was how the Capitol warps everything. So this story that we knew Katniss and Peeta watched his games, yes, it was there, the truths were there, but there was so much that was just twisted or left out. And Haymitch is like, they really made me look like a selfish bitch this whole games. Like they took out all of his moments with the younger tributes and trying to protect them. Like they made him look like he was just an asshole, as he said. And watching him on the couch watch his games, like that was the point of this book, for him to realize how much they will change everything and like make propaganda that is just, I mean, just completely based on lies just to appease the people and get what they freaking want out of it. And it's haunting, and like that is something that so many powerful people have done, things like that, and maybe not to this crazy ass extent, but yeah, like this book was so necessary and such an integral piece to the trilogy, in my opinion. I feel like it adds so much to the other books, just seeing how these things like fully interconnect, and like it just lays out even more, makes everything make so much more sense to me, in my opinion. And I'm just obsessed with it. Like I literally think she's a genius, and I can't wait to reread this and reread the other books and just see how they all like interact with each other, because truly, I mean, the details were so good. Even there's something I said in one of my live shows for my book club that I thought in Catching Fire, when Haymitch brought Peeta and Katniss up to the District 11 Justice Building attic, I was like, he knew exactly where to go to have a conversation that wouldn't be bugged. And she literally brought that detail back. He was in District 11 for his victory tour, and Plutarch brought him up there to have a conversation because he said that was the only place that was not bugged. I pay attention to these tiny details because she truly brings them back. And like, she is so smart. She clearly reread her own work. Like, she really made sure to get the smallest details and really make everything perfectly connect. Like, it really was amazing. And I have a hard time even talking about Haymitch getting back up to 12. What happened with Lenore Dove? Horrific. Clerk Carmine? That poor man. Like, this is the third time he's losing a Covey girl. First one was Lucy Gray, and it does seem that Lucy Gray did die. I think we did get as much confirmation as we're gonna get, because we see the Covey gravestones and they each have a piece of their poem to market. So we saw Maud Ivory, we see Lucy Gray's, and then we see Lenore Dove's. So those are the only three that at least was pointed out. So I think I'm right about Maud Ivory being Lenore Dove's mom. I think Burdock is related to whatever Everdeen that ended up getting with Maud Ivory, so he's a cousin in that way, and he's like somewhat Covey but not fully, you know, like he's kind of just slightly disconnected, but he's with them, you know. And I think Lucy Gray did perish, and poor Clerk Carmine, like, she mentions him and Snow are the only people that are in all three, like, books. Clerk Carmine, I saw people mention this in the past. There was a fiddler at Finnick's wedding. One sentence mentioned. And Clerk Carmine is a fiddler. So, I wasn't sure if she really did put that in there intentionally, and she did. So, that is our man, and canon gay king man, like, he's in all three of them. So at least we have one good guy that's in all of them, and then we got the most horrific person ever that's in all three of them as well. But whatever. But also it gives me chills being Clerk Carmine, and personally having met President Snow during his short little time there, seeing how he hurt just like generations of people, and then making it so far. Like, how old did you have to be at that point, bitch? Like, making it so far to be in Mockingjay at Finnick's wedding, assuming he survives the war. He better have survived that war. He's earned making it there and knowing that his girls are gonna be happy because the Sunrise did not make it to another reaping. Okay. Oh, Lenore Dove, what an icon you are. Like, that girl was getting arrested. She was really fighting for her life to get this thing done. And it's because she truly valued Lucy Gray's story. And it irked her. She clearly knew the story. And that's something that the Covey, like, held tight to them. And it's crazy to get somewhat of an ending to that story. And I'm haunted. Obviously, we have the epilogue. This is when the tears really started to flow. Because I had wondered, since this book, like, is obviously such a horrible tale, and he does not end up having happiness for a million freaking years, I thought maybe there had to be some sort of epilogue that could be just a tiny snippet into the future where he's okay now. And that is what we got. And it was crazy because, he clearly knew about Katniss since she was born. He tried to disconnect himself from everyone that he ever cared about, but he clearly was still, keeping an eye on things. And to know that he already knew who Katniss was and probably cared about her because of Burdock in his own way. And then she gets chosen for the Reaping. Well, she volunteers herself for the Reaping. He has to respect that. Nobody has done that in 12. And the fact that he accidentally called her sweetheart and just kept it going because her braids reminded him of Luella. And that just adds so much to me. Like, he always had that little term of endearment that was kind of like a joking thing. Katniss hated that nickname. But it really adds something for me. And to know that we left in Mockingjay, Haymitch has his geese, and they're like building that book together with all of the past people that died, and he volunteered information of the past people he's mentored, and he truly finally was able to get into all of his trauma with the two people he cares about most. After almost 30 years of closing himself off to people, he acknowledges how he's loved before, so it was extremely hard for him to not grow fond of Katniss and Peeta. It literally gets me so freaking bad. So for him to say, I finally opened up and like told them about Macy Donner and Lenore Dove, and in response, Katniss brought him goose eggs, and then they ate goose for dinner. Which sounds just like Katniss. But she brought him goose eggs, and like that was just so kind, and that's their way of like connecting and understanding each other. Like that's what, instead of words, like that's an action that she would do. Literally, I just can't. And not him mentioning at the end, like, I'm probably not gonna be here much longer. My liver's screaming, my liver's screaming too. It actually is. But I just thought that was funny because bitch, you just survived like this crazy ass revolution and you about to get knocked out by your liver. Like, let's keep this together a little bit longer. Somebody get the Plutarch connection. Somebody give him a liver transplant, please. But the fact that he still talks to Lenore Dove and like a vision of her follows him and she ages with him, like he truly only cares about her. Like he was a one-time man. I know the movie's like got that cute little thing with Effie, like little hint of it. I love the inclusion of Effie and how she was able to take over for 12 and she's not malicious, you know. She has a really warped perception, but it seems like she had the key bones that needed to be there to hopefully one day realize like how fricked up all of this is. Oh my god, I know I need to shut up. This is the longest video ever, but can we talk about Mags and Wyrus? The Wyrus that we know was crazy, you know, like she would just say random things, you know, TikTok, but she's clearly so intelligent. She was tortured by the Capitol because of Haymitch. And Mags was in a wheelchair, so I don't know if she can't speak anymore, because we know her when she didn't speak. She did walk when we knew her, so I don't know what they did. Maybe it was just a physical thing, and then speech was later on for her, but Wyrus at least, like, we can see how she ended up being who she was when we met her. And poor BT, man. I literally, little Amber deserved so much better, and what an icon that little kid was. Like, he, so strong, did so much to get that huge alliance together. And you know he had to be terrified. But, I mean, his role model had to be his father. And BT, even after that horrific shit that happened to him, he is trying again. And we see that he does succeed. And he's one of the big reasons that the rebellion does succeed in the future. And while I got some issues with him and that bomb, I will, like, he is definitely, this has added so much to his character, and I have so many emotions about it, but there's probably so much more that I'd want to say, but I feel like I really need to shut up. This is the longest video ever, and obviously I gave this book 5 stars, and it means so much to me, and I cannot wait to just let this sit with me and let this, you know, dissolve into my system and be a part of the overarching Hunger Games story. It was so good, and I hope y'all also enjoyed it. Let me know if you did. Goodbye.